wanted to talk about a really interesting quirk of my brain, which I think is an ADHD thing. And it's definitely something that fed into my deep depressions over the years. And I caught it yesterday. So I went to bed yesterday in a bit of a funk. And my main thing, the thought that was ruminating in my brain over and over again was that I was such a waste of space, that I hadn't done anything all day, that I hadn't done enough, that I'd wasted my day. So yesterday, got up first thing, went for a long run, like an hour's run. Okay, came back from that, walked two dogs. I walked them separately, so two dog walks. Came back from that, planned out, wrote out, thought out, and then went and delivered a 1 hour Pilates class. Stayed for a yoga class after that. Came home, did the big shop. That took about an hour and a half. And fucking hell, £204 my big shop in Tesco's was. That's about 10 days worth of food. Ugh, that's another video in itself. Then I sat down and watched, I can't even remember what I watched, something crap on telly for about an hour and a half. And for some reason, that's the bit that my brain got stuck on. I tunnel visioned when I looked back over my day that most of my day had been spent sat on the sofa. And that's a lie, that's not true. I then had a spark of an idea in my head, got up and filmed, edited, posted a little workout video. I then taught a 1 hour yoga class. After that, 7 o'clock, I came in the kitchen and I cooked a risotto from scratch for the whole family. Then I sat down on the sofa again, watched a little bit of maths, fell asleep, went to bed. And as I went up to bed, that ruminating thought started in my brain of, fucking hell, Sam, you've been so lazy today, you haven't done anything. Which is objectively not true. And I really wanted to dig into why my brain tells me that, what we can do to avoid it, and just to see if that's kind of something that happens with you guys as well. So I think the reason why I'm feeling like that is because I have got a lot of stuff on my to-do list and I am clearly feeling quite overwhelmed. That feeling of overwhelm. My brother told me off the other day for using overwhelm as a thing, but it is a thing. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm struggling with overwhelm. I'm studying and I've got an assignment due on the 30th, haven't done it. All right, so that's in my brain. I want to sort out my website, haven't done it, that's in my brain. I want to film some actual yoga and Pilates classes, put them on YouTube, haven't done it, that's in my brain. I'm overwhelmed with the amount of tasks that I have set myself to do. They're vague enough that they're just kind of hanging over me and I haven't done them. I haven't got enough of a deadline to give myself the urgency to get them done, although actually the deadline for the coursework should be kicking in anytime now. And I think while I've got these things hanging over me that I am failing to do, my brain isn't letting me appreciate all the things that I am doing. And this is a constant theme with me. And this is what has led in the past to these deep depressions, where the root of my depression is that I'm an absolute waste of space and that I don't do anything and I'm not for anything. And so this is the point of what I'm trying to do now, which is to live my life with more purpose and intention, intentionally doing things, purposefully doing things and finding my purpose. So today, I'm going to write myself a list of the things that I want to do, have to do, need to do that are kind of hanging over me. And I'm going to break it down into smaller chunks and I'm going to try and work out a timeline, set myself some deadlines and get that stuff done. But I'm also going to start physically writing down at the end of every day what I have done. This is something that I used to do when I was in the depths of depression, which was suggested to me. And it just really, really worked. So I'd get to the end of the day and think I hadn't done anything. And then I would write down every single thing I'd done. And when I was really ill, it would be even the small things, like if I'd cleaned my teeth, if I'd eaten something, if I'd, changed my underwear that day. It would be these would be the achievements. And so I need to start actually physically diarising, documenting on paper, because that works for my brain, the things that I've done and see them as achievements, okay? And I think the issue with yesterday's things were because they were all things I enjoyed doing, not the Tesco shop. I didn't enjoy doing that. But I felt like I'd procrastinated. I probably had procrastinated. I'd done a lot of active fitness things and not done the brain study things. And so I got myself in a tangle and my brain started lying to me. So ADHD brains can really easily fall into this kind of black and white thinking. I've done everything or I've done nothing. And so I think it's really key, really important that we document what we're doing so that we can't lie to ourselves and that we celebrate our achievement, there's a tendency to overblow the things you haven't done and minimize the things that you have done. So as an exercise, when you get to the end of today, I want you to write a big long list, just literally the minutiae of what you've done, of all the things you've done today, and then take a little bit of time to celebrate how much effort it likely took you to do a lot of those things, and to give yourself a round of applause and a pat on the back for achieving the things that you have done, and not worry too much about your perceived failures to achieve. So I've talked about this before, but one of the things that I do that I find really useful is when I plan out my day, and honestly, when I don't plan out my day, I really see the difference. So when I plan out my day, I have no more than 3 things in that day that are fixed points that I have to do. If I have any more than 3 things in a day that are fixed points, it all falls apart. So for me today, one of them I've done already, which was go to the gym. I'm going to walk the dogs. That's my second fixed point for the day. My third is going over to my mum's house to help her pack some stuff up. Okay, they're my 3 fixed points. Everything else is movable. So some of it I still do very much want to do. I will be going to yoga later. I will almost definitely go to yoga. But in my brain, it's not a fixed point. It's something I'm doing for myself. And if I choose not to do it, I don't have to beat myself up about it. It's about not setting yourself up for failure. And I find that if I overwhelm my brain with too many things that I have to do, that demand avoidance begins to set in, and I go, I don't want to do it, so I'm not going to do it. So no more than 3 things, if you can help it, in a day that are have tos, and everything else can kind of fit around that. And then if you get to the end of the day and you haven't done something, it's highly likely that it doesn't really matter. It's okay. We can do it tomorrow, or we don't do it at all. And we release some of that guilt and expectation from ourselves in that way. So, trying to bring all my thoughts together, I think what's happening at the moment is I have overwhelmed myself with things that I want to achieve that are a bit too vague. I need to narrow them down into smaller, achievable chunks. I need to give myself deadlines to do those things, and then they will happen. And in the meantime, I need to step right back from them and start appreciating the things that I am achieving during the day in order to allow myself to feel good about myself, and then try and structure my next few weeks so that I am achieving all of the fixed points that I want to achieve without overloading my brain, overloading my psyche with too much pressure and too much expectation. So key points: write yourself a list at the end of every day of what you have done during that day. Write yourself a bigger list, a slightly more vague list of the things that are hanging over you, things that are buzzing in the back of your brain that you want to do, and then work those down into smaller and smaller chunks, and then start to factor them in over the coming days in achievable chunks with no more than 3 things total in every day that are fixed points that you are definitely going to do. And that is how we get through this idea of having lots of things to do and feeling overwhelmed by it and feeling like we don't achieve anything that we set out to do.